I was calling in. This is a topic about Baker Mayfield. Huge fan. Moved to Texas. Actually up the road from where he used to live when he was in Texas. But my question is, why are the fans so harsh on a quarterback that has given everything that he can, not only to this franchise, but to our community?
All right, let's welcome in Ashley Bastock from the Plain Dealer, cleveland.com. And Ashley, there is not a more polarizing figure right now than Baker Mayfield. And it's divided pretty evenly. There is the harsh factor, but there are some that don't think he can get any wrong. And as usual, I think it's probably somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I was going to say that's such an existential question to start off this final segment on a Friday about why is there so much divide? Well, to answer that very basic question, I think there's so much divide in large part because of this season kind of exasperating questions that people have always had about Baker Mayfield, right? Like they've always wondered about how good he is outside of being able to do those bootlegs and those rollouts and things like that he really can excel at. There's also obviously some size questions about how well he can process, but I would say that on the very basic level is a why. It has to do with his performance on the field. But they're 100%, I think this is the biggest divide among the Browns fan base is how fans feel about Baker Mayfield, because there certainly is a segment of fans, I think, who believe Baker can do no wrong and are appreciative of everything he's done. But I do think there is another segment of fans who may be appreciative for what he's done, especially throughout the 2020 season, but they just don't think he's the guy long term. And over at cleveland.com, we did our Mayfield Matrix series where we kind of looked at all these different options for what it could look like keeping Baker Mayfield around long term potentially. And at the end, we polled readers, and the top three options all got between like 23 and 25%. And one of those options was to bring in a veteran to work behind Baker Mayfield and possibly compete for the starting job. Another option was to kind of go all in on Baker, but wait to give him an extension until after the 2022 season. And the other option, if you can believe it, was trade him for somebody else. So if that doesn't say divided, I don't know what does.
Yeah, and you know, until you really see what happens next year and what the Browns do leading up to next year, we don't really know how the front office feels about him for 100% certain either.